Now let us try to understand what is API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. What does it mean? We will try to understand each of the term, like what is application, what does P means, and what does I mean. Right? Before that, let us try to understand the definition. An API is set of rules and specifications that allows one application to leverage services or functionality or data of other application. So let us say some application has developed some functionality. So we want to utilize that functionality into our application. So one way is we can develop our own functionality and we can utilize it, which is going to be expensive. Other way is we can utilize the services or application functionality developed by other application with the help of API. So API are used to leverage the services or functionality of other service provider into our application. So this is where we are going to use API, right? Now let us try to understand, or let us try to take an example of IRCTC, which is an Indian Railway ticket booking system, and it is used to book the Indian Railway tickets, right? Now let us say some other clients such as PhonePe, Paytm, and Confirm Ticket, they also want to have this particular capability into their platform. So what they can do is they can talk to IRCTC and they can get the APIs of their platform to book the ticket, and they can integrate that API into their application so that they can book the ticket on their platform, or they can have this capability into their platform, right? So this is possible with the help of API. Now let us try to understand this particular term from here. So when one application, the client, that is PhonePe, Paytm, or Confirm Ticket, wants to use capabilities, that is ticket booking capability in this case, provided by another application, that is service provider, which is IRCTC. So it make request via the service API, that is service provider API. So service provider will be providing one API, and these applications such as clients such as PhonePe, Paytm, and Confirm Ticket will be requesting the services with the help of this API, right? Now this API, right, which is provided by IRCTC, will have some specification that how it is going to accept the request and how it is going to deliver the response back to the client, that is PhonePe, Paytm, and Confirm Ticket in this case, right? So let us try to understand this. So the API defines how this request should be made, meaning which format we need to send the request and what data should be included, and the format of the response that the client can expect to receive, right? So now for example, let us say we have application A, which is PhonePe, Confirm Ticket, or Paytm, and application B, which is IRCTC, right? Now they want to book a ticket, so they need to follow some rule, meaning application A need to follow some rule, like they need to have first name, last name, and some other information like male, female, and the birth preference, right? So they'll be providing this particular request, whatever is specified by the IRCTC, with the help of API, right? And the request will be made to this application B, which is IRCTC, and in response, once it is authenticated, IRCTC will send back the response that ticket is booked, and application A will be consuming that response and will be showing that message to the user that your ticket has been confirmed, right? Now what does application means, what does programming means, and what does interface means, right? So application means both the application A, which is client, and application B, which is a server, right? So IRCTC is application B, which is a service provider, and application A, which is PhonePe, Paytm, or Confirm Ticket, these are clients, right? So they will be talking with the help of API provided by service provider, that is IRCTC, right? So these application A and application B stands for application in application programming interface, and both are programmed, right? Because application B is programmed in such a way that it will accept the request in some specified format, so it is programmed, right? Similarly, application A is also programmed that it will be sending the request in this format, and it is programmed also to get the response, right? So this is where does programming stand for, application programming. So both the application A and B are programmed in such a way that they will talk to each other, and API is an interface because this is the intermediate layer, that's why it is an interface. So application means both the application, programming means both are programmed to talk to each other, and interfaces, as this is the interface between the client and server, that's why this is the full form of API. Now let us try to understand the flow, right? So API client, which could be any HTTP client such as Postman, Rest Assured, PhonePe, Paytm, or whichever client want to utilize services of server, right? So they will be sending the request, right? And server will be validating or authenticating, like whether this is made from the right user or not. It will be sending the response in return, and the same will be sent back to the client, and client will use it for the rendering purpose. So this is how the flow works. Now there are different type of APIs. So we have web APIs that allows user to communicate over web with the help of HTTP or HTTPS protocol. These are also known as web services. So we will soon discuss about the difference between web services and API. The example of web APIs are REST APIs, SOAP, GraphQL, etc. Then we have some open APIs, which are publicly available APIs like Google Map, which can be consumed by any application, right? Then we have internal APIs, which are developed by the organization and are not publicly available. So for example, we have one system which is maintaining the data of employee, right? So organization will develop one internal API which can be consumed in different applications, right? Because employee data can be utilized at many places. Then we have library based APIs such as Selenium and Rest Assured. Selenium is used to talk to web browser, while Rest Assured is used to talk to REST APIs. We have DB API as well when we want to talk to database, so we can use JDBC, right, which is an API. Then we have hardware APIs as well, APIs to interact with hardware. So whenever we have some application, let us say we have camera application, right? So when we click on camera, it internally calls the hardware API of camera, and as a result we see the camera got open, right? So these are the hardware APIs. Then we have cloud APIs such as AWS, Azure, Google Cloud APIs. They provide their APIs to utilize their services. We have payment gateway APIs as well. So for example, PayPal, Razorpay. So we can utilize their services to integrate payment gateway into our applications. So these are the different applications programming interfaces, but we are going to talk about REST as part of this series, right? Now let us talk about very important question: what is web service and what is API? So API is a broader term and it includes all the application programming interface. It doesn't just limit it to web-based programming interface, right? While web service is a subset of APIs and it focuses on web-based services. So service which is available over the internet is known as web service, and it always requires a network, while API might not need a network. So for example, we are on operating system and we are trying to access camera. So in that case, we don't need a network, right? So web services communicate over HTTP or HTTPS protocol, while normal API can communicate on protocol or methods, or they can call on HTTPS, because this is a broader term, right? And the purpose of web services is focused on enabling applications to communicate over the web. So as we just discussed, that PhonePe, if want to utilize the ticket booking capabilities of IRCTC, so they would need one internet, and this is how we can enable Paytm, PhonePe to communicate over the web with the IRCTC. While normal API, they provide a standardized way for software component to interact. So for example, camera example we have taken, right? So there is some specification defined using which we can access the hardware API or the other APIs. So this is what is the difference between web services and API. So this is what I wanted to cover, guys, as part of current lecture. Thank you for watching. I would request you to please like, share and subscribe. And in the next lecture, we are going to talk about what is REST API.